So today I'm going to talk about the song Beautiful Things by Gungor. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard this song before. It's been out for about a decade, but I was going to talk about different scriptures that kind of coexist with the emotions of the song and talk about an interview with Michael Gungor about the creation of the song and the kind of emotions and feelings that he had whenever he created this. So I'm going to first start with the chorus that says, "You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things out of us." And I think that that represents one of the two ways that you can interpret the song, as being a appreciation for God the Creator, and kind of looking at things that He has made, um, and to appreciate it. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but um, I am the main editor for the P is Silent, which is a series on the Psalms that we've been doing every Saturday. It's been a great project that I've been working on, and whenever I first started, my idea was that I can go around in local places and show people images with beauty of things that they see, and it's because it's such a discipline to be able to choose to see beauty whenever your life is so chaotic. And that's just been something that I've really loved to do, is to be able to look at God's creation and say that that's beautiful and that there is a creator, and that He knows more than I do about whatever is going on in my life. The second thing that you can look at is the bridge, which says, "You make me new, you are making me new." And I think that that kind of represents the second interpretation of the song, which is, how does Jesus change us to make us into new people? In addition to this, I kind of want to talk about the verses of the song, because it's the only thing that's not like really repetitive, and it kind of gives us the problem that saying that God makes beautiful things solves. So in verse 1, it says, "All this pain, I wonder if I'll even find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. All this earth, could all that is lost ever be found? Could a garden come up from the ground at all?" And in verse 2, it says, "All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you." And I don't know if Michael Gungor intended for this to be a direct connection to John 19:41 through 42, but I made that connection. Um, in it, it says this: "Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had yet been laid. So because of the Jewish day of preparation, since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there." And I just love this verse because it really it kind of burrs the term graves into gardens. Because what we know is that when Jesus is laid there, it only takes 3 days for him to rise from the dead and ascend into heaven. And what he leaves there is not a tomb full of bones, but it is an empty tomb and a garden full of life. So it's symbolic, but it also happened, to be the idea that God made something new, and that He defeated death and created life, that He has that ability to take something old and make something new out of it. And this idea of making like old things new, really is shown through the three verses, I should say, that Michael Gungor is using whenever he's asked what biblical verses did he use whenever he was writing this song. And the two verses he used were these: Isaiah 2:4, which says, "He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore." And the other verse he said was Revelation 21:4 through 5. And it says this: "And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Then he who sat on the throne, being God, said this: Behold, I am make all things new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and faithful." I love that this is what he used to make this song, because both of these verses give us concepts of a utopian society that like us humans really cannot comprehend. I mean, what would it really look like for nations to not be fighting one another? I mean, in America, it's like anytime that we are not fighting another nation, then we're fighting ourselves. So, which is kind of what we're going through right now. And then in Revelation, it talks about what it looks like to not have any grief and to not have pain or sorrow or death or anything like that. And those concepts are things that we just cannot understand. But God says that He makes all things new, that He triumphs over death. And I think that this can really apply to us. And I think that this is what Michael Gungor was kind of going for, because in the beginning of this interview, he makes a comment about worship and the purpose of it. And he says this: if leading worship is just about bringing a group of people into a room so we can get goosebumps and sing songs together, then there's not much value in that. He says, but if leading worship is a means to an end, that we leave this place as a different kind of people, as part of a new humanity that God wants to create, the people that are caring for the widows and orphans, that aren't bound by the systems of the world, but becoming free, becoming fully engaged in our world, then that matters. It's nothing for us to have really great sounding equipment and to nail a song or whatever, but it is everything to have a house of worship that people can enter and have them leave changed, that they left becoming new. They came in torn down from all the chaos that's going on, and they came out with a purpose, and they came out new. And I just love that, because whatever thing is going on in your life, God makes it new, and God can make us new to try and change and not be part of the issue. You know, I see a lot of times we forget to listen and understand and help people because we get so caught up in what we want and our selfish desires, and we put all of our trust in government and people and whatever variable it needs to be, but we don't put our trust in God, who is the God who defeated death and has the ability to take old things and make them new. So I encourage you guys this week to really, focus on the two interpretations of the song. The first being an appreciation of God the Creator, to look out in your life and to choose to recognize that there is a God who created the world that you live in, and that He oversees and controls all. The second thing is for you to think about, what change can God make in you? What can you do that can help our world, that can help the widows and the orphans? What can you do this week to help people, to show the love of Christ, and to represent Him? Have a great week.